Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. That's not often something you hear in home care, is it? But it is today's topic, the noise of aging. Let me explain. When people get older, their world often gets quieter in one way, but noisier in the other. Sounds strange, right? But think about it. How many older adults do you know being constantly told to take your meds, eat your lunch, or be careful, but quieter? Because now in their life, there's less people listening. I remember 6 months ago when I was performing an intake with one of our newest clients, Robert. Sitting down, talking to him, he told me, I hear a lot of words every day. I just don't feel heard. From that moment on, it stuck with me. Noise and quiet at the same time. Silence isn't always emptiness. That's something that we, as caregivers, staff, and family, should remind ourselves every day. When we think of care, we often picture the activities, the bathing, the cooking, the cleaning, the talking. But sometimes the best care happens in the moment of silence. Sitting side by side while the caregiver folds the towels and the client crochets. Or perhaps they're both staring at the window looking at birds. That silence is not empty. In fact, it's safe. It says, I'm here with you, not fixing, not rushing, just being in the present. Listening is more than just hearing the client and nodding to words. It's about noticing the unsaid. If you walk up and you knock on the door and Mr. Green answers the door and says he doesn't need help today, but his hands are shaking, that's communication. When Miss McCarthy is telling you about that story at the ice cream shop when she got that double scoop of vanilla with those 2 bananas and that cherry on top, she's not just reminiscing. She's telling you that moment mattered, and don't let her forget it. Even if we've heard that story for the 100th time, and we know it from beginning to end, if we rush past those moments, as caregivers, we've missed what is the heart of care. One of our caregivers started with the new client a couple of weeks ago. She shared with us that he would sporadically say the word farm. She thought it was just some random memory. But instead of just writing it off and changing the subject, she leaned in. She got him talking about it. She soon learned that that farm was where he met his first wife, where they bought their first piece of land, where they raised their kids, and where he worked for 40 years. Every time she mentions it now, he lights up with happiness. Because in those moments, he's not just a client. He's a man that's being reminded of his legacy. And that's something that we must always remember. Stories can heal. As family, we often see our older adults and want to fill the silence with advice and solutions, and even be the problem fixer. But let's be real. Sometimes your parent or grandparent just wants to sit there. Just hold their hand. Let them ramble, let them cry, or simply let them breathe in peace without having to entertain you. Because for them, silence with you is better than noise alone. The caregivers that are able to practice their active listening skills on a day-to-day basis have a much higher advantage because you do not need a medical degree to master this. You just need patience. And over time, those active listening skills turn tasks into relationships. While cooking, you can ask them about their favorite meal growing up, or the meal that they love cooking the most. While you're walking, let them set the pace and the topic, even if it's slow and even if it's scattered. And while sitting in silence, let that moment matter. Because again, active listening tells them you're still worth my time. So remember, care isn't just about actions. It's about attention. And silence, when done in presence, can be much louder than words. So the next time you think you're not doing enough, remember, sometimes your presence in silence can be the most powerful care. I'm Jerome, and as always, it's not just about what you do, it's how you do it. We'll see you guys next time.